So I was at this camp for a week, and they told us our project was to paint or write icons. They showed us a few examples, and my reaction was,
oh my gosh!
The first step is to take a wooden board and sand it down so there are no bumps and so that the paint will stick. You sand the front and all the sides, making sure they are smooth, and wipe it clean. It reminded me of a fresh start and helped me mentally prepare for the challenge ahead. Next, we paint our boards with gesso, which is an Italian word for chalk. It helps smooth out the cracks in the wood and acts as a primer for the paint. After every coat, we sand it again. You should do this at least 3 times. This represents the Trinity. You may think this was rather tedious, but I found it easy and it helped me unwind.
Our fearless leader showed us some examples and we picked our favorites. Then we trimmed our tracing paper to the size of our board. First we traced onto tracing paper, then again on carbon paper, and finally to our gesso-covered board with Sharpie. Pizza party, anyone? Just kidding, they make great art boxes.
And here we are putting on base colors. We start with the darkest colors, then gradually go to the lighter ones. The reason for dark to light is in keeping with tradition and helps with highlighting and shading later on.
One of the last steps is adding the highlights and details. The point of an icon is to show the light is coming from within. There is great symbolism in the colors and great detail is needed.
We learned about Greek lettering and then named our own icons in the language they were painted in. And after that, we were done. It had been a long journey, but the results were well worth it. Here are some of our finished products, painted by our fellow campers.
Shooting you. Leave me no choice. I'm going to have to talk. Don't make me about my icon. But don't make me. But go ahead, ask me a question.
The board is like your soul, and when you're sanding away the varnish, it's like the baptism is washing away original sin.
I learned that just like an icon is a window to the truths of our Catholic faith, we should be like a window to God.
It's so easy to slip out of the lines or go out of the boundaries that you're supposed to be in. And we always have to remember that before it becomes part of the painting, before your mistake becomes part of it, you have to wipe it off. Just like when you make mistakes in life, you have to fix them. You have to go to a confession. You have to be one with Christ again. And in the end, if we do that, it will be beautiful.
I learned that there are steps for a reason. It's very important to follow the steps and not to rush it. Just kind of like in life, when you can't rush things, you have to wait for them. You can't do things out of order. God has a plan for everyone and a plan for everything that happens in your life. And if you try to rush one part of it, then the end isn't going to turn out as beautiful as it could have.